The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent or of the River District Association. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the True North Speaker Series. Like I said, we're in season 3 and we're rocking and rolling. We got an amazing lineup and Lori Wilson is not going to disappoint just like no one else. So I want to welcome to the stage, to the mic, to the platform, Lori Wilson. Hi. You excited?
I'm very excited. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for saying yes. You were one of those ones that when we were asking people, who would you like to see? Your name always came up.
Oh, wow.
So I had asked you in season 1 and you walked away. And then I had asked you in season 2. You was like, I think about it. And so then in season 3, I was like, oh, you got to do it. Because remember we were somewhere and somebody mentioned your name. He was like, you should interview Lord while we were standing there. And they was like making it seem like I was the one who asked her. But I didn't want to tell them. She keeps telling me no. So I'm excited you finally said yes.
Yes.
Get it rolling. We're going to make your people happy because you were who they want to see.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, I hope I don't disappoint.
So you ready?
I am.
Okay. Like everybody else, first question, who is Lori Wilson?
Oh, wow. Okay. So Lori Wilson is a believer. I am a created person who God has given me purpose for helping others. I am someone who is loyal. I try to do what I say that I'm going to do. I back that up. I am a person who is an includer. I try to include others, embrace others into whatever it is that I'm doing. That's about it.
What is really cool about you answering that question and Maya, who answered it last episode, it's like you went to the spirituality of who you are. You know, some people's like, oh, I did this. Mm-hmm. You guys went automatically to the spirituality of who you are. And I think that plays into the narrative of season 3, how everybody is unintentionally connected.
Yes.
Because it was like, oh, I'm a mother of 3. Not that that's not important, right? But it's like you guys dive into the essence of who you are. So tell us what believer means to you, because I love that. That was the first word that you said, and you said it with power. So
yes.
What does believer mean to you?
So for me to be a believer, even when it doesn't look like it's going to happen, even when it doesn't look like something is created to do whatever, then as a believer, it's like I still believe. I still have that level of faith that even though it doesn't look like it, God is going to make a way and the outcome is going to be better than whatever it is that I had in my mind or whatever the vision was that I had.
Ooh, I don't even need this. Throw this away.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Because we're all created to do something. Like if you're this little stand here,
yeah.
This is what it was created to do. This has purpose. It had purpose to have this painting or whatever, so something can sit on it. As much as it may want to be a chair that has arms on it, that wasn't the function of it.
Right.
So sometimes we operate outside of what we were created to do, and so then we lose our purpose. We lose who we are as individuals and what God has created us to do. So in this season of my life, I'm getting to a place of operate in who God has called you to be, and then you won't ever lose. You always win. You win every single time, no matter what it looks like. You're going to win every single time.
Woo. Okay. Oh, I can't even go to that question. You talked about purpose. Yes. So what does purpose mean to you?
Purpose for me is operating in what you were designed to be, who you were created to be. Nothing on the outside. I can't be anybody. As much as I'd love to be, you look like you're about 5'8", 5'9". I'd love to be tall like you are. I'm 4'11" and a half. That's all the Lord gave me. He said that was good right there, and leaving right there. That's my purpose is like as short as I am or as whatever. I came with a big package.
Right.
And when I operate in my purpose, I'm doing what God has called me to be. So purpose aligns with calling.
Yeah.
Whatever you're supposed to do, that's kind of how it all works out. So
How do you know when you're operating in purpose? Because we all say that, you know, find your purpose, find those things that, how do you know when you're operating in purpose?
when I'm operating in purpose, I can do things that other people will be exhausted doing. But I find it, even when I'm tired, I'm still able to do it. It's like, if I'm a nurse by trade. If I'm teaching people how to help them to live healthier lives, to give them little small tidbits on how to make small changes in their life that is going to make it better for them, I can do that all day and all night. I can teach all day and all night. Give me somebody and let me sit down with them and talk to them, because that's what I'm created to do.
Yeah.
Even when I'm tired and when I'm like, I don't really feel like doing this, but something in me is like, you know what? Just get right back to it, because that's what you're created to do.
Yeah.
And so that's how I know that I'm fulfilling my purpose.
Can you share with us what your role is at the hospital and how it entails the journey that led you to that position?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
Okay. So my role is I'm a director of acute care nursing operations. It's a long title. I'm a med surg director is basically what I am. And how I got there, I've been a nurse for 31 years, since 94. And I've done multiple things. I worked in ICU, I worked in emergency, I worked in med surg, one day surgery, like everywhere in the hospital I've worked. Worked at Duke for 5 years. I've done a variety of things, but getting to this particular role, it kind of fell in my lap. I didn't apply for it. It was something. Yeah, somebody's like, hey, I think you'd be good at this. And initially was supposed to be a manager, and then ended up getting 2 floors. Like, no, you're a director now. It's like, oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
You know, but it was something that was gifted to me, not anything that I sought.
Yeah.
It sought me.
What does the healthcare field look like for you now versus it used to look like in the past, especially when it comes to being a woman, being a Black woman in the area that you grew up? Because I know me, myself, I was like, look, can you tell me how can I get in the emergency room? What's the next, you know, so how does that all look on your day to day?
Yeah, it's right. So years ago, you could be a nurse, and people always, applaud people being nurses because we're helping others, whenever they can't help themselves. That's one of the things. I have it on a sticky note on my mirror at home. Lord, help me to do today for somebody something that they can't do for themselves. So nursing years ago was basically, I'm just helping people based on whatever the physician has said, whatever he has ordered. Now you have to navigate in such a way that's so much different, because insurance drives a lot of what we're doing. Sometimes people's like, oh, that hospital up there, they're not doing blah, 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 and blah. But you don't realize your insurance says this is what, this is your disease process. You came in with asthma, or you came in with whatever. And insurance pretty much says these are the things that we need to get done in this amount of time. And if you can get it done in this amount of time, then we'll write you a check for whatever. But if you don't, then you lose revenue. And so who I am as a nurse now, especially as a nursing director, I have multiple people that I have to make sure that the budget is right so that people get paid, that we have the staff that we need so that we can take care of the patients coming in. But back then, as a nurse, I was a floor nurse, and I'm just, willy-nilly just going about my day. But now I have to be a manager of people, of resources, of the tools, making sure the families are okay, the patients are okay, and still being able to navigate within that confines that insurance says, this is what you have to do. And then you have to get these people out of here because there's no more slack. I mean, insurance,
Yeah.
as you probably know, like what they would pay for years ago, they're not paying for now.
Yeah.
You're having to pay more copays. You're having to pay more out of pocket, and you're paying more even on your premiums.
Yeah.
So you're paying for more, but you're getting less.
Yeah.
And so being able to navigate in that system is much of a challenge. And that's like nursing and healthcare right now.
And even with that, you still have to make sure that each patient get the best care.
As best care that we can give you
Yeah.
within that limited scope, we have to make sure that we can do all of those things.
Yeah.
And so that may mean I'm giving you a little bit more, but then that means I'm having to take something from this other person. Well, I mean, but you have to do it in a safe way. You have to do it in a safe way. It has to be, patient safety is the number one.
Right.
You still have to do it in that way, but realizing that my job that was years ago, it could have been 2 people or 3 people doing the job. Now it's 1.5 people doing that same job. So it may not be in resources, meaning things that like tools, but it could be in bodies.
Gotcha.
So you have to navigate those kinds of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you manage people complaint? Because I think that's a good thing because you're good at it. You are really good at it. Even me, I have called you and you was like, okay, let me break it down. Where do you get that energy? And it might be purpose or whatever. Where do you get that energy to break it down? That once a person, I know for me, every time I've got off the phone with you, I felt better. I understood it. Right. Where do you get that energy to be that calm, patient, and be able to explain it? Because we know when it comes to people's health and their family members, it's always a 10. You never get somebody at their T. Once they get to you, they're at a 10.
Yes. They're usually at a 15. But so what I try and do is, even when I spoke to you on the phone, I try and put myself in that person's position. Yeah. So thinking in a way of, how would I feel if this is my mom, my dad, somebody in my family?
Right.
And being able to explain it in a way that you can understand, because we have a language as healthcare workers that is different than what you understand.
Exactly.
And if I'm able to take whatever it is that we're doing and allow you to be able to understand how we're working, what is the framework? And once you're able to understand the framework, most people are fairly right, and they're going to look up things on the internet, and they're going to look up all kinds of things. So with that, you want to be able to transcend over to that person. So you make them feel like, I heard what you said.
Yeah.
I understand that you're frustrated. This is where we are, and this is what I can do to try and help.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ever say, oh, well, you know what, it's just, no, but I'm going to do whatever I can. Now, if it's something unreasonable, I'm going to share it with whoever in a way that it doesn't come across like I'm not paying attention to you.
Right.
I am paying attention, and I'm going to help you.
Right.
It's just some of the things we can do, some things we can't. And I'm going to be upfront and honest and say, you know what? My hands are tied with this, and this is as much as I can do, but I'm going to at least call you back. Yeah. Give you my number. I give my phone numbers everywhere. Like, I give people my card and my phone number. Call me. Yeah. Because once we've had that conversation or finished, it may be that you have other questions. Yeah. And people want to know, you know what, I have a resource. I have someone that I can go to and say, you know what, let me pick up the phone. Not that I want everybody to call me, but pick up the phone and know that if she doesn't know, if I don't know, I'm going to find out who does know and be able to help you with your situation.
And you're really good at that. How did you get the confidence though in that? Where did that come from?
So one of the first jobs I had once I left Duke and came back home, Danville is home for me, was a float pool nurse. Being a float pool person or nurse, you get to go to lots of departments. So in seeing what's happening in the emergency room is different than on the floor, is different than the ICU, it's different in, endoscopy. You get to glean a little bit everywhere you go. And you get to know who the players are. Right. And then you also get to know this is the challenge that they're having here. This is the opportunities that they're having here. And then how we can kind of come together to collaborate and make sure that we have that synergy, because that's what it is. If you have a little bit of energy and I have a little bit and we put it together, we synergize, and it's like, oh, you know what? We can make it to the other side. Yeah. But if I'm like in my silo and it's like, well, that's her problem. that's on them, then we have to do it together.
Yeah.
We are better together than we ever can be apart. Yeah.
Especially in healthcare.
Mhm. Especially, yes.
in healthcare. So tell me, how does your role or the role that you play in the hospital as a Black woman and being the few, if not the only, how do you balance all of that? Because I really want people to understand this series just doesn't come from anywhere. These questions just don't come from anywhere. It's really people's lives that you deal with on a day in, a day out basis of showing up with that confidence when a lot of times you're the only or the few, like they said, the minority. How do you live in that space and balance that?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Again, even my Caucasian counterparts, I try to navigate with them as best as I can because they're resourceful.
Yeah.
They have things or experiences that I don't have or haven't had. I try to glean from other nationalities.
Yeah.
My manager, Majida, she is from Israel. Like I have a background of people. We have a smorgasbord on our unit.
I love that.
Because it takes that for different people from other areas to be able to, get a synergy with each other or like connect to each other, because there's certain things that a Caucasian person is not going to understand that we understand.
Yeah.
The population that we have here in the city or even in this town is a good percentage African American. And what I find is, even though I may be in the few, I'm always the face.
Because you serve them.
And because I'm a servant leader. I like serving, and because I don't mind being that person or the sacrificial lamb, if you will, I'll, sometimes something is going on in the hospital or things are happening and people are saying really not nice things. And I'm like, you know what, I'll go, I'll go to that committee or I'll do something because I know that I'm a voice that looks like the majority of the people that we serve. And because of that, I know that is my purpose.
Yeah.
Like even when I don't want to, and I'm like, oh my God, this is probably not going to go good. It's going to be ugly. I know that people will accept it if it comes from me, and not saying that it's always going to be palatable. Yeah. But it is going to be, they know that I'm going to tell them the truth. Yeah. They know that I'm going to find out as much as I can for them, and that I'm going to help them to get through to the other side. So I don't mind being one of the few. We do have a few of us. So I don't mind being one of the few, but yeah, sometimes it does feel like it's sacrificial.
And you know what? But I do like how you said that you guys are very diverse in the department and stuff that you work in, and how important culture plays in how you guys do your job. Yes. Because a lot of times people will want to say that type of stuff don't exist, that anybody can show up, and it does make it comfortable for everybody when you can see what you look like in the mirror. For everybody. Right. Everybody. And for you guys to show up in a unified way, understanding that culture is just as part of your job as knowing the IVs, the medicine, that it all works together for the good. And I like that type of synergy because I think that's when you got the best outcome.
Right. Because patient experience is a huge thing for us. We want to make sure that your experience, when you come to the hospital, you or whoever, when someone is admitted to the hospital, they're not there because they just don't have anything better to do. Yeah. It's because something has happened that's interrupted their day, their life. And when you come, we want to make sure that we're giving you the best experience, right, given the circumstance that you have, like so that we can get you packaged up and back home or to the nursing home or wherever it is that you live. But realizing that you're not coming here because I just want to stop by, I wanted to just hang out. That's not so. So because we have to have people in the beds for us to have jobs. Right. We want to make sure that we're treating those people with a level of respect, with, making sure that we're listening to them, making sure that, if they have true issues, that we try to do our best to resolve those things.
I love that. So you talked a little bit about being a leadership role. What does leadership mean to you?
I was a leader as a kid, and I'm going to say my grandfather, O.W. Wilson, was one of my mentors, and he had multiple businesses. one of the businesses he had when I was a child, and I probably have been driving since I was about 12, was he had gardening, he had farmland. So there would be gentlemen who could not find regular jobs because they had a little alcohol problem. And so they would come and they would work the fields. Well, as a boss at 12, my grandfather had a car that you had to press the gas in order to crank it up. I'd take the guys from one field to the next field, and then on Fridays, he had a little black book. I would, go through there and you would pay the guys out of that.
Yeah.
You take them to the store and get their beverage, their spirits. But as a kid, he had me and my cousins, we were doing all of us, we were like little bosses. So we don't know anything else other than to be able to manage and knowing that, to whom, much is given, much is required. Like we always lived well. And so in living well, we had to make sure other people, we were able to help other people, Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's kind of a leader for me. Like I was a leader, like, yeah.
I love it. What are the most important skills for a leader to have, and how do you motivate a team?
Wow. Okay. Important things, important skills. One, that you don't mind doing whatever you ask your team to do. That's one of the number one things for me, is if I'm asking one of my employees to do a task, they already know I don't mind rolling up my sleeves and I don't mind going in and doing the exact same thing I'm asking you to do. And most of them have seen me do whatever it is that I'm asking them to do. So when I'm asking them, it's like, it's not a problem for them to do it because it's not something that's beneath me. So to me, that's a skill that if you're a good leader or a decent leader, you need to be able to it's not do as I say and not as I do, but we're going to do it together. Teamwork. I try to foster teamwork within my staff and even for myself. I think that is a good skill set. If I'm not in my office or having a meeting or something, that I'm out on the floor and they see me out there. They see me rounding with the patients, talking to the staff, asking them what things do they need, what resources, what tools, what opportunities or challenges they're having so that I'm able to help them to better do their job because they know what it is or what it takes for them to do their day-to-day role. And it's my job as a director to direct and get it done. We may be challenged with the budget, but we may not can get it this month, but maybe we can get it in 3 months. But it's still going back and still asking, okay, we didn't get the bladder scanner this time. Can we get it the next time? The things that is going to make their job feasible so that they can, kind of do what they need to. Yeah.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. You need to kill it. Okay, let's dial it back. How do you balance work and self?
I have a challenge with that. I'm a worker. Lots of people say I'm a workaholic. I'm a worker. I'm not an early bird. Anybody knows I don't go to work really early. I should, but I don't. I'm usually a late person. The balance for me, I do line dancing.
Okay.
I do that 3 times a week. I do that. I go to church, of course. Of course, I pray. My daughter, Kennedy, I visit her. She's just graduated from VCU.
Oh,
yeah. Let's see. The balance is hard because I'm on call pretty much 24/7. If something's going on, I'm either on the phone, on my laptop, or in the hospital. So that part is a bit of a challenge. But when you're in that created space or purpose, it's like, you know what, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to get away from that. So, whenever I am doing my dancing, because I love to dance, whenever I'm doing that, I'm letting my hair all completely down.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And one thing I do want to talk about, because we have never talked about this, but being in the role, you said I'm on call. So technically your job is 24/7.
Yes.
And people need to understand your salary don't change.
Nope.
Whether you work 1,000,000 hours or 10 hours, which you never do, or the 40, your salary don't change.
It doesn't change at all.
And
it doesn't.
Also, being on call 24/7, how do you say no? is it a place or a space for no?
So, not necessarily that it's a no,
Okay.
but we have persons called house supervisors in the hospital. And what I've asked my staff and or sometimes, the patients, if there's an issue, to channel it through them before coming to me. Do the whole rotation of like going up the ladder of, did you talk to the charge nurse? Did you talk to the, team lead? Did you get to the manager before you get to me?
Right.
So because sometimes some things can often be handled on a lower level. And sometimes people feel like their issue is nobody else is having a challenge other than them. And so sometimes you do have to kind of dial it back a bit and just say, you know what, I'm going to allow my manager to handle that. She's capable.
Yeah.
And if there's an issue, then we can sit down and discuss.
Whew. And the reason why I said that, because a lot of jobs are salary and a lot of jobs are on-call jobs.
Yes.
And a lot of times young people don't understand what that means. They see the salary. They see the job description, but they don't understand the time and the commitment.
Right. Yes.
And a lot of times I have seen, like, you guys, I got to go.
Yeah. Gotta go.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I got to take this. And I don't think they understand that type of commitment.
Right.
They see the glam of it because you be glamorous, Randy. When you show up, you be glamorous.
I try.
Yeah. But they don't understand what is required to get there. And I really want people to understand when you get in certain positions and certain roles, the title is nice.
Yes.
The funding, the money is nice, but the commitment is
It's heavy.
Yeah.
The commitment is heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people understand the heaviness. It's a weight.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why if you're operating outside of your purpose or what you were created to do, it's too heavy. That'd be like me saying, I'm going to hold my arms up for, however long, I can do it for a while, but you put something else on there.
Yeah.
You put something else on there. It's like, okay, I'm getting tired now. And then I'm going to need somebody else to hold me up in order, to get to whatever it is. But if I'm in my space, I know when to say, you know what, I got to tap out right now.
Yep.
And then I can get back in. I got to tap out right now and then I can get back in. So being a salary person is a deal.
Yeah. Just like an entrepreneur, you work, it's 24/7. It's even in your sleep. Because when you first wake up, you might pray, do all that. But the first thing you're thinking about, what I got to do.
Yes.
What I got to do.
And it's never ending. Your list just keeps going. It's always, you always have a list.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a person that likes to check my list off and be done with it. There's never a done with list.
Yeah.
You have a list that some things may be, like small,
Right.
but then like bigger projects, it's like, it's a running list.
Yeah.
It's a running list. Like, okay, I'm working on this, but this is going to be something for the next couple months that, we're working on. So that's true.
Another thing that I would really get tickled about is when people get into, it's one thing to be a supervisor, but actually managing people. Woo. They see that job description or whatever, but they don't really understand. Even as an entrepreneur and you got to hire staff, where does the ability to be able to manage folks come from?
So remember when I told you about my grandpa?
Yeah.
He helped me to understand people's strengths. I can't ask you to do something that you don't have the capacity to do.
Yeah.
You may want to, you may have the best desire at all, but you just are not able to do it. Recently, I had one of the ladies at work asked me to help one of her cousins, somebody in her family, to get a job. I was like, well, let's bring her in for an interview. Brought her in. I knew immediately she was not a right fit for us,
Right.
Or at least for my team. And what I shared with her was she's not the right fit for us, but I do think that she can glean in a different area.
Right.
So I, passed that person on and they did hire her and she's doing fine. But it's up to us to be able to identify
Exactly.
if people are having strengths or weaknesses and
Exactly.
saying, you know what, we got soup brewing here
Yeah.
and we add you to the soup and it just threw everything off.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we're adding flavor to what we already have
Gotcha.
and being able to continue to be like, oh, this is good. Oh, this is real good. You don't want to put something in there and you be like, what? Yeah.
That's the whole right.
Then that's the whole thing up. Got to throw that out.
Let's curve a little bit because this is good. I like it. I want to stay. You know, I love leadership, so I want to stay here forever. But that ain't what the people want. Tell me, what do you remember about North Main? Because we're all in the redevelopment stage of North Main, and what do you see a possible vision for, especially in the field of work that you do and in the purpose that you live?
I know a whole lot in one question.
Okay, extra. I'm getting extra this season, y'all.
Extra, very extra. Okay, so for North Main, what I remember as a kid, I grew up on the South Side,
Right.
but for North Main, I always thought North Main was rough. It's like, whoo-wee, you go North Danville, boy, you got to be in there to go to North Danville. And what I see is now with the revitalization that is going on and some new restaurants, the theater, some of the building up of the homes, like the gentrification that they're doing for certain areas. It's like, okay, we're getting a little bit of life, a little bit at a time, and it's going to take all of us to get that life going. I go to church over at Van Street, which is in Red.
Which right there in the hub.
Right there. And we are doing, like one of the things that I came to them is because they had a community day, and that's coming up September, I want to say 20th, that they have an annual community day, and it has everybody there over like at Stonewall. And it, for me as a healthcare person, to see them doing things in the community that was helping the greater good of the community, and it was free. Mostly anytime that you have any events, it's $20, and people who are already suffering, that $10 or $20 is huge for them.
Great.
And if they have families, they can't afford it. So then you eliminate people who you're supposed to be serving. And so that was one of the attractive things for me to go to even Van Street, because they were like the sponsor, and they have like even the line dance thing. That was something that's making like community healthier, because it's a free, we go at 6:00 on Monday nights, and they open up the fellowship hall. And that to me is huge, because you don't have to be a member. Anybody can come, and it's something that's helping people to get healthier. And then so that part helps with revitalization, because you get all kinds of people, like, we have people that are 70 and 80 years old that's in there dancing. They may not be doing it the way we're doing it, but they are moving, and they're making it such an impact. Their blood pressure's coming down, heart rate is doing good. That right there is like huge for me. So that was an attractor for me.
Right.
And for North Danville, like, cause I never went to North Danville. It's like, my mom was like, oh, don't go over there. So now it's like, getting a little bit at a time, getting the stores, getting the restructuring and the faces, of the houses and that kind of thing is getting to be a little bit better. So,
and you mentioned it, and this is the one thing I like about the revitalization that's going on North Main. It's not somebody coming in rescuing the people. It's this process, especially through REA, is about seeing what the people want, seeing how they want to get it done, and providing them the resources. And I think that's going to be more sustainable than anything. That, like you said, now the churches are on board. Now it's dealing with the issues. It's not somebody coming in and say, oh, I just want to put this here in this space. You're saying we need healthier citizens over here. So we're going to do line dance. We're going to do workshops or pop-ups and community events and talk about health for free.
right.
Because I think a lot of times for me, it's not about the free, it's about the access.
Yes.
Because once somebody get the buy-in, they'll figure out how to pay for whatever needs to be paid for. But a lot of times, if I got to choose my dollars, I never did this before, so I'm not going to select for my dollars to go there. No matter what you say, that's not going to be where I use my dollars. But if I can bring me free access, I get the buy-in, then I'm going to do what I got to do to get it done. And that way, I know my money is being used wisely. And that goes my health then becomes at the top of the list, because not only did you show me, you taught me, and now I know that I need it.
Yes. Yes.
And I love it that we're doing it like that on the north side. Everything, when we're talking about the revitalization, everything is leading to being a healthier person.
Yes. When you have healthier people, you can think better. You're clear in your mind and your life. You know what? I can make better choices. Do I want to drink the bottle of water, or do I want to get the soda? Like, because if you have stores the little convenience stores, and you don't have any grocery stores, or you don't have any ways or means to get in healthier foods, your selection is less. And so guess what? I'm going to go to the Family Dollar or the General Dollar and get my groceries because I have to work there because I don't have transportation. So getting those things started and like jump started for certain groups of people, because as I said, I've always grown up well, but I also have had family members who did not have as well. So I'm able to identify as like, oh, you know what? They have a need. So guess what? Because I have something, I'm able to help them along the way. And it's not to make them feel bad or feel smaller, but it's like, you know what? If I'm winning, you're winning. We're going to be winning together.
We're going to be winning together. And a lot of times, even with revitalization in all pockets of the community, a lot of times people's like, I didn't know. I didn't know. So what we automatically assume is our natural, is somebody don't even have a clue that it even exists. That they don't even know what versus natural or processed. You begin to use those words when all I know is what I had all along. And to me, this is healthy. Even to me, my parents had gardens. Very seldom we bought canned food. But somebody else, when I got older, I was like, okay, the oldest got these cans. I'm going to oldest. I'm get these
full of salt.
Yep. But didn't never know that until my mom was like, why are you doing all this? Why you? It's a difference.
And so that's the part that I was saying earlier about I can sit and talk with people about those kinds of little small changes that they can do that will make them last longer. Like it's not about it. You want to have the quality of life. You don't want to be 90 years old, but somebody's been taking care of you for the last 20 years. You want to have a good quality of life. You want to have a healthier life, one that you can make your own choices and you can, do what you need to and be able to help like the next person. Yeah. So
I really love that. And I think you even brought it even deeper, how now everybody in the community is thinking like that. It's like, and knowing that's revitalization.
And so then what I learn, I'm able to help you. You're able to help the next person, and they are able to help the next person. And that's kind of how you get that little
transformation.
Yes, absolutely.
Boom.
Yeah.
Now you see why we do what we do. If you was given a chance, how would you bridge healthcare improvements with other redevelopment priorities such as housing, education, and the growth of downtown? What can we do to bring them together?
Oh, that's a big one.
But I did like what you said. I ain't answering the question, y'all. I'm just how you talking about the community events?
So those events, you have partners from PASS, from the hospital, from different community locales. People are able to go to each of the stations because they have the whole ball field and it's full of different little stations. And they, sometimes people come, they have the little bags, they just want the little free stuff. But if you're able to give them one thing that helps them change something about how they live, then you've accomplished what we came for. And so with that, being able to have good health equity, like we call all the time saying that, I have access to healthcare, but does my neighbor have access to healthcare? They don't have insurance. So like a company like PASS, or the free clinic, being able to get people that knowledge. Cause we got people that still have, no running water. We still have people that have flip phones. We still have people that are way behind where we are. So, it's our onus to be able to help bring them up to, not necessarily saying they're going to be floating along in the same thing that we're doing, but at least bring them into the conversation. At least have them be a part of what it is so that they can say, oh, you know what? You used to grow your vegetables. Oh, that's neat. Why did you do that?
Right.
Because when people know the why, then they're more likely to jump on board and make some nice changes.
Exactly.
They're able to make changes.
I like how you said it. We have the assumption that everybody got an iPhone.
No.
We have the assumption, and I'm going to even break it down even more. We even have the assumption that everybody can read.
We're on a fourth grade level here in Danville.
Yeah.
Fourth grade. So when I'm talking to my families, to the patients, and they have a communication gap, I try and put it in my mind, they're not where you are.
Right.
Take it all the way down until you figure out where they are. You meet them where they are. And then once you realize, okay, we're at the 10th grade level now. I can talk to them on a level, not making them feel bad, but making them feel included. making them feel like, you know what, she is, embracing what I'm saying. She's hearing what I'm saying, and she's going to do something about it.
Yeah. And a lot of times people are not going to tell you their shortcomings.
Right.
You have to be right. You have to figure it out.
Right.
My dad could not read or write.
Wow.
He couldn't, but I could tell you he could put the whole tractor trailer, he could take the part, put it back together again. He knew anything when it came to auto mechanics, anything that you need, anything that came to garden. He was a chef before that. Anything dealing with that, he can tell you how to crossbreed products, how to make different plants and everything, from the seed to the seedling to the everything. Wow. He didn't know what he was doing. He just knew how to do that. And he didn't need a book to teach him. But a lot of times when it came to like basic things, reading the newspaper.
Not able to do that.
Not able to do that. And, or either he'll watch TV and get the news and he be all in it, but reading the newspaper. And a lot of times no one, unless you knew my dad, you didn't know that he could read or write. You just see this man who's doing all these magical things and people would come to him for everything, but you didn't, and he didn't hide it. It just wasn't part of the conversation. You can't.
My grandfather was the same way. And he had multiple businesses.
Exactly.
He knew how to make money and he knew how to do certain things. And whatever he knew how to do, he made sure everybody was included.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
Wow.
So you never know what people's shortcomings are. So I like how you said when you had a conversation, you pick up on those little things, and you wouldn't dare give my dad a pamphlet because you would pick it up that he couldn't read or write, but you would ask him, who can I give this to that can read this to you later? Or what do I need to do? We can send you a video link or whatever. So same thing with somebody with the flip phone. You wouldn't send them links.
No, because they're not going to be able to access them. Yeah, they're not. And a lot of times people think that people have the same access. Exactly. And it's like, no. And so when you were asking me earlier about being a Black woman and, being a part of the few, one of the things that I understand about my counterparts is their experiences are totally different. So, I can sit and listen to them and glean from that. But at the same time, their experience is different than mine. Exactly. And so, we just have to kind of figure it out. Yeah. I see how we navigate, how do we fit, because it's kind of like if I'm a screwdriver and you're a hammer, as much as I want to hammer something, I'm the hammer. I can do the hammer, but I can't do the thing with the screwdriver because that's not my purpose. That's not my calling. Yeah. That's not what I was meant to do.
And I'm going to forever take that away, even in my consulting work, that when we're talking about blending, team building, culture need to be part of that conversation of how things culturally can work to make or team better.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's not. Because the more ideas you have, the more culture you have, the better factual information that you'll come up with. Exactly. Because it's like, take a little bit from this person, a little bit from this person. Like everybody has a little bit to add, and then we all come up with a great product or whatever, idea at the end. But you can't think of it all. Right. And I can't think of it all. Because we're only coming from our experience, not what anybody else had. Yeah.
You talked a little bit about your grandfather, but what other mentors that you had, and how did they impact your life?
Let's see. Other than my grandfather, my first nursing person, her name was Shabane Logan. If you never forget that name, never forget that. I was an LPN when I first
for real?
No, that's her name for real. She's still living. It's Shirbane, Shabane Logan, and she was a Shabane. She would call herself Old Dog, and she'd call me Little Pup. She said, "Little Pup, come over here." And yes, but she was instrumental in showing me how to love on people. Like, she would give her last. She showed me how to become a nurse, not just skill set, because she had great skills that she showed me, but she showed me life lessons as a nurse and how to be an includer of people as a nurse. And I mean, I go visit her every now and then, and she loves when we go and sit on the couch and talk about old times. It's been 30 years, and so she was one of my mentors. And then Barbara Stanfield, she helped me greatly in the hospital as far as management and knowing how to then, again, and be an includer of people and making sure that, yes, you're a nurse. Yes, you are supposed to be helping people, but you have staff. you have, like you want to know what's going on with them. Not necessarily got to know all their business, but being able to know, well, why is this person calling out? Like, why is this happening to this person? They used to be, really spot on. And now all of a sudden they're having some challenges with getting to work. Drill down and figure out what is it that's going on in their home life, whatever they want to tell you, so that you can help them be the best. They can show up and be the best employee that they can be, so that you manage them to, helping somebody else. Because being a caretaker, it wears you out. It can literally wear you out. It wears you really thin. So
that made me think of when you said that was Miss Jackson when I first started working at Roman Eagle. Mm-hmm. She was the best CNA I had ever seen in my life. And it had nothing to do with her knowing the medicine or the job itself. It was her love for the patient.
Right.
And she was like, do not come up to here. Don't take this job if you're not going to care.
And it was about respect.
It was, oh God.
It's about respect. You did. It was certain things you just didn't do.
Exactly.
And if you did, they'd be looking at you like, so you want that to happen to you?
Right.
Like they believed in do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Like, we don't do that.
Yeah, I never forget. It was this one lady who was mute, and she didn't even eat. Like, she was mute, and she didn't get out the bed. But Mrs. Jackson went down into the where they keep the extra clothes when people pass away or leave, and she got this lady a pair of shoes. And I said, Miss Jackson, why you even give her shoes? She said, I said, she don't even get out the bed. She said, well, you want shoes? And just standing at the foot of her bed, that lady would look. Just the fact that she had, I would have.
She humanized her. She humanized her. We recently had what we call the B Award at the hospital. We had like monthly Daisy Awards. It goes to nurses who do something extraordinary. And one of my CNAs, she got the B Award. And Wendy's her name, Wendy Randolph. She actually, we had a patient who was being discharged who unfortunately was homeless. And in that, when he came, he was living under the bridge, so he was soaked.
Wow.
So when he got ready to leave, of course, we had changed him into a gown while he was there, but he was about to leave. And him leaving, he had those same soaked clothes.
Oh.
So she left. She's like, hey, can I go to the store? Oh, yeah, okay. She went to the store, bought him a whole outfit, clothes, shoes, the whole nine, and brought him back those clothes. Wow. And you should have seen the look on his face. And even though we may not have could have changed exactly where he lived or what, all of the things that went with him, she humanized him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the kind of people that I have on my team.
Right.
They make sure they go the extra mile to make sure that they're doing, to make somebody feel like, like people don't know all the stuff with the medicine and all of that stuff, but they do know how you make them feel. Like, how did you make me feel at the end of the day? Like, you can talk all that talk, but how did you make me feel at the end of the day? So,
yeah. What legacy do you hope your leadership leaves or young women and men growing up in Danville today?
Wow.
Yeah.
Legacy. Wow. Again, make sure that you're helping those who are not able to help themselves. Making sure that you, again, humanize people. Let's see, legacy is a big word. Making sure you don't, engage in, activities that would bring shame for some reason, to yourself or your family. Trying to think of something I tell my daughter.
But you know why you can't answer that question?
Why?
Because you live it.
Yeah, it's like
nothing that you try to define it.
No.
And I think that goes all the way back to that first question when you was talking about beliefs and purpose. It's I think people like you struggle to define it because it's your natural being.
Right.
And I really love being around people like you because it don't feel like I'm waiting for you to unzip and show the wolf. Like, you can see that you're the sheep. Like, you can see it. Like, you don't even have to say anything. It's just when you walk in the room, you carry that. And I love people like you because I do feel like the society that we live in, they're far and few in between identified.
Right.
But you can't hide. Your energy, you can't hide. And I know it's hard for you, and it was one other person, it was hard for them to answer that question because he was like, legacy. I'm just being me.
Right.
And I love that. And thank you for that. I mean, I know it's nothing that you're doing intentionally, like, what I want my legacy to be, but
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be, I knew it was going to be, that was going to be the question that's going to be hard for you. I knew it.
Well, and I want to say thank you because you're one of my mentors as well. When I was going through Southside Leadership Southside, and just, being able to glean from you some of the information that you were able to share about, your work and what you were doing and how I could kind of navigate, help me to, look a little bit more, explore a little more, from my end, and some businesses and things that I have in the back of my mind that I kind of want to actually put to not just pen to paper, but actually, see it in actualization.
I can't wait. Look, I can't wait. Okay, y'all, we're going to stop being so serious. What brings you most joy outside of your professional life?
My daughter.
Okay.
Yes. Kennedy, that's my girl. Like, that's my girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She her mama's child.
She is. She keeps me straight though. Like, she brings me joy, but she puts me on a straight. She keeps me, whatever it is that I say and or have said to her over years, she reminds me of.
Ooh.
Yeah, she does. She's like, Mama, because I'll be saying, did you know such and such and such? And she'll say, and that's their business. And I was like, you're exactly right. So you're exactly right. Let me get back to being who I'm supposed to be.
That's like not legally. They'd be like, girl, I just want to have a moment. I just want to chat it up.
Nah, she's not about that life. Not at all. And she's diligent. She's smart. And I mean, like, she gets up and does her own thing. Like, she's always been very smart. But since she's gone to college and come back, it's just like, who is this person? Like, she just grew up. Like, she's a little woman. Like, she's very meticulous about things. And, I glean things from her now. Yeah. So, that's my favorite person.
What brings you peace?
Prayer brings me peace. Knowing that I do right by other people brings me peace. That's the biggest thing, is making sure that I do what I can sleep with at night, that I did right by that person. And if I don't, he'll keep me up to make sure I go back tomorrow or whenever and say, you know what, I did that wrong. I didn't handle that right. I might have been having, a menopausal issue or whatever at the time, but I didn't handle that exactly right. So, please, and asking for forgiveness is huge for me, because I'm a person that try my hardest to do it right the first time. So me having to come back and ask, it's like,
That's what I was ready to ask you. How do you do that?
That's you have to resign in yourself that, you know what, this is the right thing. And not only is it the right thing, but it helps to release me. Because if I don't, I'm going to be in bondage based on what I've done to that person. And I'm trying to live free as I can possibly be and live well. I want to live well.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people, the majority of the world, struggle with apologizing.
Yes. My mom, she would not apologize. She would just start being nice to you. Doing things like, baby, you want a new necklace? Let me go get you an out. She would not, but saying sorry, that wasn't in her vocabulary. Like, she wasn't about to do that. But you knew she was sorry based on her actions. But, and it took me a long time to just get to that, because I grew up in that environment of her being like, oh, if I'm being nice to you, if I'm doing certain things, I'm sorry. You got to say it. Yeah, you have to kind of just say it. And it's not saying that I'm sorry, but you know what? I apologize. Yeah. Maybe I'm not saying I'm sorry, but I apologize if I made you feel a certain way. Well, you knew you made them feel a certain way. Right. I apologize for making you feel that kind of way.
Yeah. How do you handle the conflict when someone does something to you? How do you handle that? Because a lot of times you're not going to get the apology.
Yes, that's true. And I'm not going to say I do an eye for eye, but I will let you know that offended me or hurt me or, something to that degree. And I'm usually able to articulate fairly well enough to say, so what about me made you feel like that was the right thing to do to me? Yeah. Because it put me in a funk or a place. And I'm just not sure if you meant that, what you did, or if maybe I misunderstood. Because sometimes it's miscommunication. Right. Sometimes they didn't mean to do it. Right. Sometimes people will do stuff to you and it'll hurt you to your core, but their heart was in the right place. Right. And then sometimes people will do stuff that you thought was being nice, but their heart was far from it. Right. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just fluffing you up because that's what looks good for right now. Right. So just like the Lord says, man looks at the outward, God looks at the heart. So when you figure out whatever you're doing, it's like, okay, was your heart in the right place when you did that? So if your heart was in the right place, I can't knock you, right? Because maybe you did it and it did hurt my feelings. I can just let you know that.
And I think those are some of the hard.
They're hard. Crucial conversations are very difficult. I have to have them with my staff sometimes. Of like, okay, what were you thinking? Yeah. Like when you did this to this patient or when this happened, tell me what it was that was going on. Because sometimes it's outside things that are forcing you. It's like, oh, what do I choose? Oh, I'm going to choose that. Even though you had all of these other options, you chose the one that probably didn't feel the best. Right. But given the pressure that you might have been under, maybe that was what you felt like was your only option. Yeah. So then, we have to go back and unpeel that and see kind of where we're going from there.
Okay, so I'm ready to get deep. Yeah. So in that, when you had that conversation with somebody, or what does grace look like for you? Because when they explain it, you can never go back.
You can't.
What does that grace?
So we're not gonna have that happen again. Whatever it was that happened is like, I understand what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. Let's not do that again. Let's not have that happen again. Okay. And tell me what the next time when you have this scenario or a similar one, what is going to be your steps for not choosing that, but getting a different outcome. Yeah. Because it's probably going to happen again, because that's kind of how God works. Like, you don't pass the test this time, he's going to bring it back. And it's like, oh man, you know what? And I see, I just got finished doing that. Well, you know what? Because you didn't pass the last test. Yeah. So yeah, I try to offer grace as much as I possibly can. Sometimes it's not granted, but
I do like how you said my grace is steps. Like now, when this come back, how are you going to handle that challenge?
Because you always have direction. You're going right or the left, and it's like if you're trying to get over there, how can you best get there? Yeah, based on the choices that you have, and that's one of the things I tell Kennedy all the time. Yeah. Like life is about choices, and you make the right choices. They get you to wherever it is that you want to go. Yeah. Or they take you further away. They're either one step closer or taking you one step further away from where you want to end up. Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I'm glad I asked that question, because for me, is I would defend somebody else all day long. If I see somebody do something to the Lord, I'm going to them, I'm asking them questions. But when it comes to attack on me, what I feel is attack on me, because like you said, it might not necessarily be, I would never address it.
You wouldn't address it? Mm-mm. So you just remove yourself from it?
Sometimes. And a lot of, I have had times where I would just live in it and knowing that person.
Why?
I don't know. So I'm glad that you said how to have the conversation and move with grace, because a lot of times I'm non-confrontational for me. Right. And I don't know where that comes from, where I don't feel like to defend it. I don't even know if I said, well, it'll be all right. I don't even
do we think maybe it's not worth it?
I don't know. I literally don't know.
And so for me, I haven't always been there. Yeah. Growing up and like younger years, I was more of a doormat, and I allowed people to kind of like do whatever, and my mom, she would always say, Lorianne, you're different from me. She always called me Lorianne. Yeah. Lorianne, you're different from me. Now, one thing about my mother, she taught people how to treat her. She was not going to allow you to do anything.
I liked it though.
And see, when I grew up, I always thought she was mean because she set boundaries. Yeah. And I just let people do whatever. But she set boundaries. And she would be like, nope, not going to do that. And I'd be like, well, Mom, nope, we're not doing that. And I never could understand until now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 56 years old now. So
Yeah.
now I see it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Mom was right. Now, my mom just passed this past April. And so a lot of the things that growing up that I thought, I don't know why she do now. I see it very clearly like, oh, wow, she was right. Like, you know what? So then you don't have to teach them anything different. If you teach them how to treat you,
Right.
then it's no, I don't feel bad. I go to bed. She's like, oh yeah, I go sleep real well. I sleep real well at night.
Yeah.
And she did.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is about our self-esteem.
Right.
Or who we are as, and I want to even say as Black females.
Right.
To feel like we have to absorb and carry
Exactly.
other people's stuff. Because I'm going to tell you, our Caucasian counterparts, they don't do that.
Yeah.
They'll tell you right now, oh yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And have no issue with it. Like just let it roll off. Like it never even occurred.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do we feel like we have to absorb those things?
Yeah.
And carry those weights, unnecessary. Those are unnecessary weights. So to that's why we have young people now in their 30s, 40s, early 50s who have health issues, having heart attacks and strokes early because you're carrying other people's burdens that don't belong to you. They no longer. And so when I started, like a few years ago, I was going through a divorce and I had blood pressure was like 200 and some over like 100, like,
wow.
And that was one of the, like, I had to lose weight and I started, doing things to help me because I'm like, I'm going to let these people kill me. Like literally. And I have this child that I got to make sure she's good. And who's going to take care of her if something happens to me? So it's helped me to start, let me throw some of that weight off of me.
Right.
That unnecessary weight, I don't need it.
Right.
I don't need to carry whatever burden you have. Like, you know what? I need to be able to go to sleep in peace. I need to be able to turn my mind off because it's running like this all the time.
Exactly.
It's like nonstop. And I need to be able to undo that. And you got to get rid of that stuff. You got to start practicing that because that's self-help.
Right.
And it'll get you to a place that you don't want to be. I mean, like, I can't tell you how many people are having strokes and heart attacks, and that's young.
Exactly. And then that was one of the things that my doctor was even talking about. And she is a white female, so she was telling me, she was like, "Why do you think that's your issue?"
Right.
She was like, "Why do you even think it is your responsibility to allow someone to say what they want to say because one, they know they can say it to you and not get corrected."
And then not only that, sometimes we come across as the angry Black female.
Yeah.
So when we clap back,
Exactly.
and so you're tall.
Yeah.
And you're darker skinned.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I can get away with as a lighter skinned, short person that you can't because you're taller and because people will say, well, I feel like she's bullying me or I feel like she's, giving some kind of a harassment. Now I have a heavy voice. If I've never been what you call written up, but I have been talked to about my tone or my delivery because I'm a straight shooter.
Right.
And my tone is heavy.
Right.
And so sometimes people perceive that as I'm being antagonistic. And it's like, no, I'm trying to get straight to, we trying to get over here and you're going all the way around there. And we can do a straight line.
Right.
Like, why are we doing all of this?
Yeah.
And so the way we grew up as Black females, our mama would say, clean that room up.
Right.
It wasn't no, if you go in there, no, we're not bargaining with you. It's not a bargain. It's you get in there and clean the room up. And because we grew up in those kinds of environments, sometimes those things may have hurt our feelings as little kids. So whatever we had as a little kid that made us happy, makes us happy as a grown up. Whatever upset us as little kids also upset us as adults. So we take that into adulthood, and then we feel like, well, we want to kind of fit in, and so if we fit in, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And because I'm darker skinned and I'm tall, then all of a sudden it's like, well, I want them not necessarily to like me, but not make me feel like that I'm trying to hover over them or make them feel less than because I am tall or because I do have a presence.
Right.
Now, even though I'm 4'11" and a half, I have a presence.
Yeah.
I know that I have a presence. But for some people, it comes across as you're too much.
Yeah.
well, what is too much?
Right.
Really, like, what is too much? I'm who God created me to be.
Exactly.
And I'm going to be who God created me to be. Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, I'm going to be able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
I'm going to be at peace, and I'm at peace with you and with myself and with God.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, that's the bottom line of it.
I have a friend, Keisha, and we do this call every Saturday. And the one thing she always say is people treat you how you let them treat you. You let them know how they treat you. And that's what they did. And that always stuck with me ever since she said it. And she's like, well, you let people treat you how you want them to treat you.
Right.
So I think the problem is not necessarily with them, it's with you. So you need to speak up and let them know how you want to be treated.
You don't have to be rude about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can just say, yeah, no, thank you. I won't have any.
Yeah.
I won't have any of the stuff that you call yourself. Yeah, no, thank you. I don't need to go to the event or to the whatever. You know, no, thank you. No.
Okay, we got to wrap this up, but I don't want to. I don't want to. It's getting good. But no, tell me, what is Lori 10 years from now?
First of all, I'm 66 years old. My God.
I'm still fab. Yeah, well, I mean, they got to bring it every time. Let me bring. That's wrong. You died. That ain't right. Yeah.
10 years from now, hopefully I'm retired.
Yeah.
I am living, I'm going to say, my best life of travel. I love to travel. I love to travel. Hopefully at that point, let's see, Kendi will be 31. Maybe she probably won't have any kids by then. She might. Yeah. Maybe I'll be a grandma, in that way. Let's see. That's a loaded question. 10 years from now, that's a lot going on. I'll still be, like, right now, I'm on the board for Danville, Pennsylvania Cancer Association. That's one of the platforms that I serve on. And I'll probably be emeritus by then, not actually on the board, but still, kind of helping with them. But probably serving more community-wise as far as, not necessarily a governmental position, but, probably on some boards, probably some additional boards.
Yeah. Tell me, what is your favorite quote, scripture, or mantra?
Wow. It would be out of Proverbs, I'm sure. Proverbs 3:5 comes to mind. Trust in the Lord and with all your heart, lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, for he shall direct your paths. And, just saying, fear the Lord and making sure that, some of us says, be not wise in your own eyes. And that should be health to your navel and and also to the marrow of your bones. Cause it's, again, you got to be able to, if that gut is right and you can sleep at night, cause when you did something wrong, your gut's going to tell you. But if I'm doing what I'm supposed to and leaning on the Lord and, knowing that, I'm trusting God that this is going to work out for my good some type of way, it's going to be all right. And knowing that he has plans and thoughts and plans for me that, he's going to bring me to a prosperous and unexpected end. Like, you know what? That's where you're supposed to be. You might take a couple of little, navigational curves, but eventually you're going to get over to them because he has an expected end for me.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Lord.
You're welcome.
You guys, you trapped me. I knew it was going to be amazing. So thank you for
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Lori Wilson, season 3, episode 2, True North Speaker Series.